and welcome to another edition of Does the Team Think? Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to that moment in the program where we don't ask a member of the audience to put a question, but we ask our guest celebrity to come along and ask the team a question. And quite frankly, I am completely lost for words. How to introduce our guest celebrity, I do not know. All I can say is I'd like you now to meet a famous professor of basic English 25. Ladies and gentlemen, Stanley Unwin.
Bravo!
Welcome to the program, Stanley. And without getting any tongue twisters, can we please hear your question?
Yes. What does the team think of the standard of public speaking in this country today?
What does the team think of the standard of public speaking in this country today?
I think public speaking is quite odd these days. They have ghost script writers, don't they, these public speakers? They don't write their own scripts. And there was one chap who was giving a public speech, and he came to a joke which he was supposed to have been his favourite joke, and we read it for the first time, and he thought it was so terribly funny that he roared his blooming head off, his glasses fell off, and he broke them, and he couldn't read the rest of the speech.
I was a member of a club, and I got in, into this club. It was a very exclusive club, and I don't really know how I got in, but I did get into this club.
Through the window.
I got into this club, and it was a very exclusive club, and there was one fellow, you'll always find one, who was a very flamboyant type of person, to put it very nicely, always walking around, slapping people on the back, wanting to buy them drinks, and interfering into conversations. And he was a very, what shall I say, a very ill-bred sort of person.
How long has Jimmy Edwards been a member of your club?
And so somebody went to the secretary one day and said, I think you better have a word with this fellow quietly and put him in his place. So the secretary went to this chap and he said, look, old fellow, he said, I don't want to upset you, but one of two things you must do. He said, you must either stop wearing a monocle or give up saying you was.
The thing is that I have found over the years that people either don't bother to express themselves very clearly or don't bother to listen to what you're saying.
Listen to who's talking.
Well, I rang up a motor car firm one day and said, my motor car would like a 500-mile service. We're rushed out. He obviously wasn't interested in servicing, so then I said, what's the position inasmuch you can cope where the sale's up Charlotte Street? Oh, yes, we can cope at the sale. I'll put you through. So then a voice came, sale, Charlotte Street? Oh, Grimley Fordaway here. Oh, yes, sir. I want to supersede the availability before a call this sort came through. So you'll have to wait 2 to 3 months. You've got the Mark III coming through now, you know. And, it seems to show that people don't bother to listen. Now, in my trouble, I'm passing dead.
Professor, could I ask you a question, talking about public speaking? Do you think that it's a waste of time for orators on the soapy boxes to hide the Parkers on the cornfold?
I understood every word of that, but then I'm a Lonnie Donegan fan.
Yes, well, Mr. A was an excellent question, and is based on where the orator, standing on his rostrum, to reach the eardrum of the people in the public. And I think Mr. Fletcher also was right when he referred to his Lonnington Donegal.
Yes.
Donegal?
Yes.
Three bags full. If it takes 2 sticks of rhubarb to make a gooseberry fool, who killed Cock Robin?
That is a very good reference, because if Cock Robin, tasting rhubarb wine, which was made in the early morn, and got the bacteriology with the vinegar flayed...
Where did this Wilson
Professor, you have just heard the news in garlic.
I don't want the professor to get a meds up on what they were talking about. Because otherwise it traipses it out with a talky through and the people goes a bold, you see. I'm beginning to like this. This is better than English.
Well, it's half-hours through in the early morn, and they're enjoying their motor sitting there, palms are dangly, all way.
Was your party dangly, Jim?
What was your original question? A question?
Well, the question, as it was formed in my brain box, and by that I mean the pigeonholes of the mime, and came through the larynx and the vowel sound, was this. Would the public speaking, which in the sitting of 4 illustrious people on this panel, for expressing most for the real tranquility of the speakers, convey the idea which is going on inside their brain box.
I think Stanley Unwin ought to stand for Parliament because he makes more sense to me than any MP I've ever heard.
You must come from a very peculiar constituency. That's
Mr. Edwards,
I'm rather
please.
lost here.
Quiet, the questioner is about to put one.
well, polo was a corollary to this because...
You're a front and back stud to your corollary, have you?
Yes, sir, definitely. I was thinking if you were doing a polo most on your four-legged stallion and dangling their way, I should lollop round and do a chucker through.
And thereby hangs a tail.
Does Mr. Jimmy Edwards find any difficulty with the asymmetry of the either side, which is very much yoke-shaped, of his moustachier either side for balancing on the horse? Is there any
So would you like to
No.
answer that? No.
That's it, Jim. Play safe. Play safe, Jim.
Thankfully, very muchly, Vanley Stanway. Thank you.